What up? What up? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. How's everybody doing? Good morning. What's going on over there, Marbles? Thanks for sending me that Delphi update. I think we'll start with that this morning. I haven't even watched it. We'll watch it together. What's up, Purdue? Lisa Branham. Redfoot, good to see you. Frank Meister, what's up? Caught your live stream yesterday. Thank you for that. My guy, Brad. What's going on this morning, everybody? So that's typically what we do here at the Sleuth Crew check-ins. We cover what's going on in the members-only stuff. We cover anything true crime, news, updates, things like that. And we just kind of hang out and have a discussion, really. So we'll watch a clip relating to the Delphi case. Then we'll get into Charlotte Cena. And then we'll kind of talk about the members' choice meeting we have tomorrow. True crime and other stuff. What's up? What's going on, Sweets? GP. Good to see you, Jill. Melissa, Peruvian. How are you? Good morning or good afternoon in your case. Who are you jamming out? I was making some beats yesterday. Trying to use this program called MPC Beats. But I'm used to Cubase and the MIDI controller through there. If you guys know what that is. Don, good to see you. Good morning to you. Thank you, Frank. Sassy, what's up? Night Shadow. The Real Cornet. So is Real Chill Graz going away for life? What do you mean going away for life? You mean like his channel? I doubt it. I doubt it. What's going on, Pam? Lisa. Donna, welcome. Goose. CJK. Melinda. Who else we missing? Lisa. Yep, glad you made it as well. All right, let's take a look here. This was sent to me by Marbles. Thank you. Shout out to Marbles. You rock. Always on top of things. Okay. Okay, this is Fox 59. They're calling it breaking news. From a little bit of the headline, apparently the defense is claiming that the prosecution has now opened up a case into the Odinism angle. So let's see what Fox 59 had to say about that. And if any issues with the audio, please let me know. Well, let me ask you this, guys. If you have evidence, let's say you looked at some random theory, right? We looked at the Ron Logan theory. But yet, when they arrested Richard Allen, they didn't mention anything about Ron Logan. You know? So why, if it has nothing to do with the theory that they're working on pertaining to a specific suspect, why would they include it at all? it's not related, right? So it almost hurts their case to say, well, why wasn't this mentioned? Because you think if it was that clear or something they were trying to hide, they would simply tie Richard Allen to the Odinism. They would just say, hey, there is an Odinism angle, and we believe Richard Allen is tied to that. But they didn't do that because they didn't believe there was one. And from my understanding, Odinism is not that. It basically takes part of that and is more of like a white supremacy group that kind of hijacked Norse um, ancient beliefs, is from what I've gathered. So I believe that statement was incorrect.
New.
Okay. Now, it almost seems natural for the prosecution or investigators to open up the investigation, right? How else are they going to combat your claims? Okay, you want to talk about that angle? You're investigating that angle? Well, this is still an open investigation, so I guess we'll do the same. Or we will publicly acknowledge that. For all we know, they've been looking at that angle. They're looking for other suspects, and the defense could have just ruined that opportunity for them. So whoever they arrest now, and they're looking for specific details about the crime scene, everybody has those details now. Unless they're hiding something. And it sounds like the prosecution's holding back everything until the judge kind of twists their arm. That's very smart because they're probably holding a couple smoking guns, or some really powerful evidence. And that way, when they finally are forced to release it, the defense is like, oh shit, this throws our theory completely out of the water and we're in trouble. Now we have to start over. So I'm interested to see what happens when the discovery is presented to the defense. What's up, Shay? What's up, Cindy? It says here the defense team says it has recently received several audio files of interviews conducted by Indiana State Police this past August with numerous people who they say are members of the Odinist cult. So thanks again, Marbles, for sending that over to me. I appreciate that.
Parents in my arms.
What's going on, little one? Brett, good to see you. Molly. Pam, I don't know. When did you send me an email? Yep, they didn't complain about the Kleins. Like you got Ron Logan and the Klein angle. So if there is anything about the Delphi case that is connected with Odinism and some kind of ritualistic murder, and the prosecution knows it and the defense knows it, prosecution would like to keep it quiet because it's still an open investigation, and the defense wants to put it out there, in my opinion, because like I said from the beginning, it's groundworks if it's connected, potentially for a plea deal. And for all we know, Richard Allen is kind of pulling the strings from behind the scenes. That's how manipulative people are. He's spoon feeding his defense. And they're using what they have, right? He comes in, he's like, Odinism. They're like, what? What'd you say? Odinism. And he starts eating paper, hey, is my wife okay? Odinism. They're like, what? Odinism? Let me write that down. Something along those lines. Prison gang. Yeah, anybody that I've spoken to who who studies or even lives and practices Norse mythology, um, they find the term Odinism repulsive because it's something different. Kind of like the way the Nazis were into that same belief, you know. Frank says by Indiana law, the prosecutor has up to 10 days prior to trial to get all discovery turned over to the defense. No, I saw his mugshot on your live. Who? Why do I feel like the real Cornet is trolling? So if you got something ridiculous to say, real Cornet, you might as well get it out on your next comment because you're probably getting booted. Welcome back, Marbles. Cindy, keeping it real in here, sponsoring today's live stream. Thank you. What's up, Ray? Frederica. Molly. What's up, Phil? Cheeks is in the building. Good to see you, Teresa. What's up, V? Discovery is everything the prosecutor has right. Yeah. But the question is, what is the discovery? What is it? Of course, it's their right to have all that information. It has to be presented to them if it's going to be brought up in court, right? And if it is going to be brought up later, they need a certain amount of time to go over that information before they show it to the jury or the court. What's up, Angelina? Apparently. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Charlotte Cena and the suspect Craig Ross Jr. Actually, let's go ahead and put his face up here. There he is. That's the guy who kidnapped Charlotte Cena, or may have. But I think the story is still developing. But most likely, this man here took that poor girl. Hey, what's up, Jessica? Welcome. Picture of the tree. Oh, yeah, you mean those crime scene photos? Well, a lot of those aren't real, and I can tell you why. Thanks, Tan. Appreciate that. That was nice of you. That's all I need. Feed my ego. Cheeks. I mean, look at Garrett Kurtz. He basically said he knew who did it and it was recorded. Yeah. He said that Ashley had videos of it. Some guy named Rick and somebody named Rick and Ken's or something like that. Come to find out, a person named Rick is arrested. Who's this Ken's person? What's up, Willow? Good morning. Little one says nothing suggests Odinism, other Norse pagan religions. Yes, in my opinion, and they do not practice human sacrifice, staged to look like a ritual. Well, I mean, it really depends on who you're asking, right? Maybe the people who committed the crime do practice it that way, and it's kind of like in a radical way. And I don't mean radical in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle kind of way. I mean like it was radicalized, being abused for their own psychotic purposes. So the last thing you want to do is give a psychopath an excuse, because they spend most of the time trying to find an excuse. Yeah, Katie, we're going to go over it. This man's name is Craig Ross Jr. I believe he was a mailman. I think we'll watch the press conference first, and then CNN did some really good coverage. We'll watch that and we'll talk about it, and then we'll get into the member stuff. So,
Parents in my arms.
it's about 7 minutes of that press conference.
Parents in my arms. David and Trish, I went to the campsite.
Let me know how that audio is.
I saw the place that she had just been a joyful little girl the day before, riding her bike. Because I was on the road she rode her bike on, saw where she left it. And her parents were just so overcome with sadness and grief. And as a parent, I thought my own heart was breaking. And I said to them, I promise you this, we will bring Charlotte home to you. And as each hour went on, hope faded, because we all know the stories. The first 24 hours, there's hope. But when you hit 48 hours, hope starts to wane. But when Charlotte disappeared in Monroe State Park, it was every parent's worst nightmare. But I knew I would be able to have assembled the team of individuals who would not stop. And I want to thank at this moment the individuals gathered here tonight and all the men and women across this state that they represent. And the FBI brought in their specialized trained individuals all the way from Washington to help with this search. But I want to thank Deputy Superintendent Richard Allen, Lieutenant Colonel James Barnes, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Mazzone, Major Dennis Shager, for their work. The New York State Park Police, Colonel Michael Dodona, the Office of Parks and Historic Preservation, Chief of Staff Randy Simons, Saratoga County Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Jeffrey O'Connor, the Schenectady County Sheriff's Office, represented by the Schenectady Police Department, Police Department of Schenectady, Detective Sergeant Bradley Carlton, the Federal Bureau of Investigation Acting Agent in Charge, Alfred Watson, who I met yesterday on site, New York State Department of Corrections and Community Services, Acting Commissioner Daniel Marticello, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Forest Rangers, Basil Sagos. As I mentioned, when you hit that 48-hour moment, you realize it's going to be tough. And you start thinking the worst. But what happened was extraordinary. The case started to break at 4:20 a.m. this morning, when the family's home that was being guarded by state police, when the parents were still starting another day at the campsite where they'd last seen their daughter. 4:20 a.m. The car pulls up to a mailbox. Something is left. State police immediately go to the mailbox.
Okay, we're going to talk about, this is a question I have for the chat. Let's say this guy didn't leave this note, or basically leave this clue, because he's obviously an idiot, right? What if he didn't do that? Would these folks be standing up here on this podium, and would she be alive today?
And identify.
Not that that matters, because she is safe, But for future cases, I mean, this guy was not far away at all. You know, he was right there. And he was hiding behind a home in a small trailer. And the only person that could really turn him in is his mother, who would probably never ever do that. And nobody would ever see the girl because he pulls in behind the house, takes her directly from his vehicle into the car or into the trailer. So, how do you solve a case like that? How would they have found him without him getting himself caught? How do these people on this stage conduct an investigation without that kind of a clue?
What is a ransom note that had been left behind for Charlotte. State police worked diligently trying to find a match for a fingerprint. First one tried and wasn't successful. Second one was to identify any other prints in the New York State database that would be a match. The hit came at 2:30 in the afternoon. There had been a DWI in 1999 in the city of Saratoga. A fingerprint was found that matched what was found on the ransom note. So, a little more research work identified the location and identifying the fact that there was a home they could visit. They found a double wide house.
Yeah, let's get the likes up.
Woman, the suspect's mother.
Thanks, Frank.
The suspect lived in the camper behind. They had what they call a dynamic entry, a tactical maneuver, and within the camper, they located the suspect. After some resistance, the suspect was taken into custody.
Thank you, Molly.
And immediately, the little girl was found
Miss Thang
in a cabinet, cupboard. She was rescued. And she knew.
Imagine somebody taking your little girl and putting her in a cabinet. If they wouldn't have found her, he would have killed that little girl. It always comes to that. You know, they panic. Okay, now what? Now what do I do? Because he obviously wasn't looking at her like a person. And I don't know if he hurt her, but I guarantee he would have, and then he would have killed her. Probably within a day. So how do they conduct an investigation when the perpetrator is not a complete and utter moron?
She knew she was being rescued. She knew that she was in safe hands. Her parents were immediately notified. This occurred at 6:32 this evening. The suspect, 47-year-old male named Craig Nelson Ross Jr., is still being questioned.
You could all?
At this moment, charges have not been brought, but they are fully expected.
Hey, Freckled.
The daughter was transported. Her daughter was transported to local hospital.
A quick question. Is this what it's like watching my live stream? I feel like me and her are smoking the same shit.
As is customary. And that's all the family wishes
We caught
to
this
reveal at this
motherfucker.
time. But they are united.
Nothing else.
She is
We
in
got
good
it.
hands. She appeared to be outwardly physically unharmed at the time. But we'll leave the rest of this information about little Charlotte to her family at a time they deem appropriate. Often these stories don't end up like this.
She's a stone cold killer.
Every second is key. There's a lot of pressure. Split decisions are made.
That's
'Cause,
scary, Mama.
Not just a life is hanging in the balance,
Keep her close.
but a little innocent child's life is hanging in the balance. So to the teams behind me, you work quickly. You work with great urgency. You put it together, the puzzle pieces.
Hey, Jody.
You're able to track down the location of Charlotte through technology.
What's going on, Miss Thang?
But ultimately, it was the two SWAT teams, one federal, one state, that landed in helicopters in Boston's.
Truffle says this sick guy worked for the post office. Do you guys remember that case? I think it was either at the beginning of this year or maybe late last year. It was a UPS driver. He was making a delivery and some young girl was outside. He kidnapped her and killed her and threw her in a ditch. Do you remember that case? I never looked at the Amazon delivery guy the same, or the UPS guy or the FedEx or whatever. Like I always look at him different now.
To rescue Charlotte. Still pretty overwhelming because all of us feared the worst.
Molly, anyone know why the governor was so attached to this case? Well, she's obviously using it, to kind of flaunt the success of it. And yeah, this is great news. This is a great outcome. But I don't know. To me, the suspect messed up. He dropped the ball. Willow, thank you for the super chat. So we have two sponsors today. Thank you for bringing all of us sleuthers together in an amazing community. Thanks, Willow. Appreciate it more than you know. Thank you. Getting in my feels a little bit. Yeah, that was an awful case. We might have to cover that one. Yeah, that was a scary one.
But I promise Trish and Dave, they be reunited with little Charlotte once again, and she see her two sisters, one 10, one 4 years old. And obviously it's a traumatic event for the family and certainly Charlotte. And we'll continue to keep this family in our prayers as they heal.
Athena Strand. Thank you, True Crime.
But she'll be going home. That's the story. Charlotte will be going home. That's all I have to say on the details. Certainly.
This presser is a lot longer. I think it goes on for another 6 minutes. But those were all the details. All right.
Miller still.
So this was a great report by CNN. They pretty much cover everything. And it's all up to date, all the information as of really about an hour ago. Let's take a look.
Here with us by phone is New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Governor Hochul, thank you so much for being with us. I'm glad it's with good news to talk about. Can you just bring us up to date on what you know about what led to
Sorry if that was loud.
Of her?
Yes, everyone in New York is breathing a collective sigh of relief right now. I was literally, in the arms of the parents. We were all hugging each other just yesterday as I went up to the state park, just looking at the site where the little girl had been abducted. We didn't know quite it was an abduction at that moment, but as more time unfolded, we realized that that was likely the case. We spread the search to a much larger area than the state park, checking on the cell phone pings throughout the towers, which helps you identify people who had been in the park at a certain time and where their phones were later. So the technology was a great help to us, but we spread that search around 5 counties. Also searched for known sex offenders, identifying individuals
scares me.
in that category. So it was really an incredible coordinated effort from so many agencies. It was a state park, and so the state of New York State Police were involved as well as our DEC teams. But it was extraordinary to see how they traced it down to an individual's home. The home was surrounded by law enforcement and helicopters, and they were able to bring her to safety. And not long after, she was in the arms of her parents at a hospital and being transported so she can be checked out. But she is in good health, and we're so grateful for everyone who did an extraordinary job. I told her parents, I said, we will find your daughter. I said, I promise you will find your daughter. And I, as a mom, am just so grateful that she has been found safely tonight.
Governor, there's a report that there was a ransom note received. Can you tell us about that? And that perhaps there were fingerprints on that ransom note?
There was a ransom note that was left at her parents' home. And yes, the fingerprints there assisted the police in identifying the suspect.
What's up, Grizz?
So that ransom note was actually from the suspect?
That is what we can glean from it right now, but I have to caution that this is still very much a live investigation, and as more information that can be confirmed is available, we'll get it out there. But right now, there was a ransom note, and that was instrumental in leading us directly to the suspect.
Yeah, awesome outcome. I pulled a New York Post article. Looks like they tried to include a bunch of information about Craig Ross. And here are some of the images from that scene. I'm not quite sure what we're looking at here. Maybe you guys can help me explain this. Is this like a makeshift office? Do they have the trailer covered? Not quite sure what that is. Fire in the bowl. Yeah, I think me and the governor are smoking the same shit. Yeah, true crime. It's much better covering a successful case than it is a missing persons case because you always fear the worst. And unfortunately, I fear the worst right from the beginning because we've seen it time and time again, right? These sickos, they can't resist it. And now that they can't resist it, they can't face up to it. So they can't stop doing what they're doing, which is wanting to fantasizing about kidnapping and killing and sexual assault. And then once they've completed that, they're like, what now? Well, I can't just let this person go because then I'll go to prison. So they don't give a shit. They just kill these people. And usually it's an innocent child. Gendromeda. Is that a Futurama reference? The governor was mocked for promising her return. Boo on those people who ranked her. Yeah, but that brings me back to that question. And I don't want to, bring these guys down. They did a great investigation. But I have to ask the question. If he didn't leave that quote unquote ransom note with his DNA all over it, fingerprints and shit, would he have been caught? I mean, how do you even conduct an investigation without a clue like that? The dude was like, what, 6 miles up the street? In the back of a home in a small trailer. How many small trailers in these little towns are missing children brought to? Nice. Yeah, is that what you're thinking that is, Katie? Because I don't know if that's where the trailer is. And it almost looks like they created their own little foundation right here. I don't know if they're processing information, but here I have another map. There's the parents. They must be very happy. They posted this to Facebook. At followers, thank you, God. And the FBI, New York State Police, all the multiple agencies, friends, family, volunteers, community members who work tirelessly to bring Charlotte home. Man, look, God is good. He's like, I don't know why, but I'm going to go put this ransom note in the mailbox. Glad you did. Here's the dumbass. Looks like he caught the butt of a rifle here. You see that? Looks like the stock of an AR. Bink. Maybe a flashlight. So he's got blood in his hair too. Cheek says, we are definitely lucky this guy's a dumbass. I'm pretty sure the outcome would have been different if not for that. Well, I'm glad that they, even with that clue, maybe some investigators wouldn't have found him. So you got to give them a whole lot of credit for doing what they did with that clue. But my only question is, how do you conduct an investigation without that clue? She mentioned something about the cell phone tower, and she was able to kind of track who was coming and going and where they were after. But are you able to do that legally? Or is that something you do after you have a suspect in custody? Like, okay, we have a suspect. Now we can get a warrant to see where he was at, at this time and where he went. Okay. So without a suspect, are you able to use that technology and that information and maybe just start narrowing it down? I just don't know how they would have caught this guy. The only person that would have known he stole that little girl would have been his mother. She ain't paying attention to what the hell he's doing back there. Mama Styles. Minus the hot UPS guy in those little brown shorts. Yeah, I think I have another photo. Here we go. So I think this is the home. So I wonder if they have this little shed covered. But when I first saw the image, I thought he lived right here in this trailer. Not sure. Is that even the same place? Dawn says puff, puff, pass. Got to pass it to your left. What the hell, Molly? Molly says, when I was 12, somebody pretending to be a mailman tried to beat our door down, demanding I let him in. Hell no. Home Alone, I already got the mail and knew our mailman, called 911 and my dad and hid. Wow, that's terrifying. That means that person was probably stalking you, knew you were in there. I've seen some YouTube videos where people are like, put on these goofy little vests or like maybe like an Amazon looking outfit and they'll hold an envelope. They'll be like, hey, is this your envelope? And then when the people open the door, they kind of kick their way in, pulling, with guns in hand. So I can't tell if this is the same place. It looks like, because you can see the next door neighbor's house right here. See it? Through the trees, and then there's this huge grouping of trees right here. And there seems to be another building right here. So let's see if that matches up. Ooh. Went too far. Okay. So it looks like this is maybe the building that we can see through the trees, or this one right here. That's most likely this one. So I think they have this building covered up. I wonder why. And I have a feeling these camper trailers are something they brought in. I think these belong to the investigators, maybe. You see how there's two here? There's one right here, and then there's one right here. Well, they got him. They got his ass. Okay, let me read some of this article, and then we'll get into the members-only information, then get out of here. Okay, so this was from the New York Post here. The man accused of kidnapping Charlotte Cena looked dazed and disheveled in a new mugshot released after he was ordered held without bond early Tuesday as authorities investigate whether he may have been involved in other child abduction cases. Okay, so we might have a serial killer on our hands here. That could explain what's going on with those camper trailers, why they have that shed covered potentially, or if they made some type of makeshift their own little shed so that they can process the evidence. Maybe they're digging. They could be digging. Craig Ross Jr., 46, was snapped with a scraggly beard and a receding hairline in the mugshot released by police on Tuesday. It described him as a 6'4" and about 275 pounds. The mugshot was released hours after Ross was officially charged with kidnapping at an arraignment at a Milton Town court, according to WNYT. He was taken early Tuesday to the Saratoga County Jail, where he is being held without bond, and cops continue to probe whether he is involved in any other disappearances. Police will spend the day questioning Ross to see if he had been stalking Charlotte, if he is a pedophile, or if he is simply a criminal who was trying to make money off of her ransom. I doubt that. He probably saw the the media coverage and freaked out. It remains unclear if Ross allegedly targeted Charlotte specifically or went after her at random when she was alone for a few minutes while riding her bike through Moreau Lake State Park. So I'm wondering if the Evansdale case is a lot like this. You know, did somebody take those girls in Evansdale and just bring them somewhere like to a small trailer or, um, to an area where nobody would see them pull in and take two girls out? Is that what happened? The suspect lived just 2 miles from the child's home. Yikes. According to an address listed on his vehicle registration, Governor Kathy Hochul said at a news conference Monday. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Ooh, that was a good one. I feel like I almost popped my eyeball out. She said a big break in the case came early Monday when Ross reportedly dropped a ransom letter bearing fingerprints in the Cena family mailbox. That was smart that they were watching that, right? Investigators entered the prints into their database and matched them to Ross Jr., who was arrested in Saratoga in 1999 on a DWI charge, according to Hochul. So, yeah, if he's like some kind of serial kidnapper, killer, whatever, they may not have his DNA, but they have his fingerprints. He literally drove up to the family's mailbox, assuming they were not home, at 4:20 in the morning, opens the mailbox and inserts the ransom note, leaving the critical piece of evidence behind. Okay, now the rest is just like quotes from the governor. All right, let's catch up on the chat. Marvel says, hopefully, somehow, a search with dogs would have found her eventually. I don't know. Because if she goes into the vehicle, how are they going to follow her scent? Maybe they can. What's up, Vic? True could have had her chained up for years if he had a different agenda. Hey, and that does happen. Thank God a lot of these suspects get caught before they can do that. They'll catch these criminals, and when they go and do a search on their home, they'll find basements filled with chains. Yeah, a lot of these missing people are still alive and they're being tortured as we speak. Remember that one woman that broke free? Like and she just came running out of this home and like into this man's arms. It was like, this guy's had me chained up for like 15 years or something. Cindy says, if no ransom included at all, gotta wonder. Think they would have got him with ransom, with or without fingerprint, though. You hope. You just ask yourself, how? How are they going to get him? Because once he does what he does, he's going to go dump her body somewhere. They don't know where, and they don't have any suspects. Like, how do you begin an investigation like that? Me, the first thing I said was check any known sex offenders who may be in that area or visited that area recently. So, yeah, maybe they would. Is he a sex offender? Yeah, Vic, that's what I was thinking. Ransom notes in 2023. I couldn't help but think about drugs. Is this dude really on? He must be really tweaked out. Yeah, I'm surprised that's all the damage he took. Yeah, he took the edge of something right there. Barry says, definitely a perv. Yeah, we're going to learn more about this guy, I think, throughout the days. Hopefully they caught a really bad guy. And if he had anything to do or has other victims, hopefully they can find that information. Sees through, what's up? Yeah, they didn't punch him hard enough, huh? He does have some blood up here in his other photo. All right, because we are running out of time, this next part is for members only. We have our members' choice meeting this Sunday, and the poll is up. Let me put it up on the screen for you. So these are the cases that we will be voting on. And remember, anything that doesn't make the cut, we can always cover in the next meeting or during a live stream or whatever. We got Asia Degree, Patrick Sean Betts, John Benet Ramsey, Jessica Chambers, and Brittany Wood. Now, Patrick Sean Betts and the John Benet Ramsey are the only two that I'm really familiar with. So if you are a member or looking to become a member, make sure you guys participate on this. And once we kind of decide what we're going to cover, if you guys have anything you want to send me to my email pertaining to those cases, while I put all the information together, feel free to do so. What's up, Bird Brain? Blue-eyed devil. For real. Fashionably late. So members, make sure you guys go vote on that. We'll close that out tonight. So I'll say probably 10 hours from now, we will close it out. Farmer says, guy looks like a creep. Not that that should be obvious, but this guy looks like a weirdo. Who, me? Yeah, you too, buddy. Here's the actual mugshot. We might have a couple contusions up here. You might have a black eye right here too. Yeah, he better be Truffles. Hey, Colette. How are you doing? He's going to get welcomed in true prison fashion. Nope, he'll be segregated. Unfortunately. Thank you, Mary. You guys can all learn something from Mary. She says, I'm already a sub and hit the like on the way in. That's what I'm talking about right there. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to zoom in on him like that. Yeah, crime of opportunity. Just driving by, he looks around, nobody there, grabs her. Boom. I think that's exactly what happened in Evansdale. They found the bikes and everything. Evansdale kind of reminds me of maybe either two perpetrators or somebody who kind of used an old method of luring, like puppies or something like that, you know. What's up, Peach Train? Welcome. Keeping It Real says, I hope she wasn't sad. I mean, that little girl is so lucky. I mean, it's almost a guarantee that he would have killed her. Probably within the day. Because, I mean, you never know. Maybe he doesn't even watch television. But as soon as he finds out, like, it's all over the news, there's missing posters up everywhere. His mom's talking about it. Hey, did you hear about this? First thing he's going to do is get rid of her. Because he doesn't give a shit. None of these people do. Yep. Crime of opportunity. Opportunistic. Oh, we have a super sticker. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Frank. All right, we're doing it big today, guys. We are fully sponsored. Cindy Lean, Willow Rain, True Crime Talk with Frank Meister, the great live stream yesterday. Thank you for reading those documents. So hopefully you guys, if you're interested in the Delphi case, go check out Frank and his last live stream. So make sure you guys post his link there in the chat if you could. Thank you, Diana. Bird Brain, is it true his brother was the one recently released from jail for stalking and taking pictures of young girls? They called him the ice cream man. No, but I don't trust those guys either. Riding around in a little van with that music. Here, would you like some candy, little kid? They found him. He put a ransom note not in their campsite, but at their actual home. So what they did was they lived very close by where they went camping. You know, they just went to go have some fun. You know, hey, let's go camping. You know, we'll roast marshmallows and we'll hang out in the woods. You know, let's get away. Let's get out. So they drove like 7 miles, I think it was, you know, outside of town. And the little girl was kidnapped. And apparently the following day, this man went to their actual home. And another question is, how did he know where they lived? So he went to their actual home and put a ransom note. So I'm wondering if he's the mailman, right? He sees the little girl and maybe he's delivering mail there to that home. And they're getting ready to go camping. He's like, oh, where are you guys going? Or over here, and we're going to go camping just over here. So maybe he kind of planned this out. I mean, how else does he know where she lives? Yeah, good thing he was a dumb cluck. All right, guys, that is it for today's live stream. We might go live again a little bit later today, depending on if I can put something together and if I can find the time. But please, members, keep an eye out in the members only community tab. That way we can get a better idea of what you guys want to cover. We can have another great live stream. The past few have been great, these members meetings. So let's keep that trend going. Oh, his brother? I wonder if his brother had anything to do with it. Yeah, it's true, Vic. Was the way of the world at one point, not just this country. It's called evolving. Better than you were yesterday. Molly says, Sleuth intuition, he isn't. And I believe she's referring to my question about him being a sex offender. But New York only allows certain level SOs to be on the RSO list. Still not sure if the first man named, who is an RSO, is his brother. No confirmation yet. Yeah, because that was a really strange video. Did you guys see that video of the man who was, he kind of came out on Facebook, I think it was. So, he came out on something. And he said, hey, I kicked this guy out of my home and he may be camping nearby. I have a really bad feeling that he might be involved. Well, the guy who made that video himself, I believe, was a sex offender. So I think he quickly became a suspect. That's scary. Yeah, it looks like they're looking into it. All right, guys, I'm going to go to one more comment and then we got to bounce. Oops, shout out to Mary Flynn coming through with the super sticker. You guys rock. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you, Frank. Zarzar just caught the end. Is he a mailman? I believe so. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'm still learning a lot about this case and about this guy, Craig Ross Jr. But from what I hear, he may be a mailman. Thank you, V. Marie. Yeah, if you guys want to become a member, just hit that link there. Not sure you can do it on your phone. And if you do it on your phone, you have to go to your browser. Molly says, full name, Craig Nelson Ross Jr. Hey, RWhip. Why put a ransom note? Don't get it. Yeah, that whole part of it has drugs written all over it. Some kind of weird something going on upstairs. Maybe the need for money. All right, guys, if you could hit the like button on the way out. Replay crew, let me know what you think about today's live stream. We'll get back to you in the comments. Members, make sure you guys vote on the poll. And everybody else, hopefully I'll see you a little bit later tonight. If we can find the time. That's going to be all my time, guys. See you later.